Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3, Episode 9, Judgment Day, Episode 10, The Mettle of Man, the review. So this is the last season of Ash vs. Evil Dead, and these are the last two episodes. But a very, very good, entertaining slasher comedy horror action show starring Bruce Campbell from the Evil Dead franchise. And you know, it really sucks. I remember when I found out this was like, when I watched this last episode, I'm just like, that's how it ends, on a huge cliffhanger. Boy, I was pissed off. I was pissed because I had just gotten into this like franchise and I was just like loving it. And then, like, you know, like I said, after I watched the TV show, I decided to watch the first two movies and stuff. And I just like fell just like in love with this stuff, you know? And it just sucks. And of course, after the last episode, that's when Bruce Campbell said he's gonna retire as Ash physically, but he still voices him every now and then. And, you know, there's no real reason. I don't think he ever gave like a really true like reason why he decided to retire. Maybe he's tired of doing the physical stunts, because with a lot of this stuff and the Evil Dead stuff, they do use stunt doubles, but they have him and the other stars do a lot of their own stunts. So with him getting so much older and stuff, you know, it wears you out, you know, because the dude who played his dad in season 2, Bruce, and the dude who plays his dad, I forgot his name, but they did their own stunt, like shot from shot of the bathroom fight. And at first I'm thinking to myself, there's no way in the world that the dude who plays his dad did his own stunts. That dude's like really old, up in his 70s and stuff, you know, but they did it and everything. So this could be a main reason why he's tired of doing it. Plus, who really knows, you know what I'm saying? Because I know like he's been very like vocal of this series and very passionate, saying how this series is so great because they're allowed to say and do whatever they want with really no liberties and stuff and no restrictions. And then, you know, he said like one of the reasons why this show got canceled is because one, it's really expensive to make, and two, it was the second highest pirated like television show next to Game of Thrones. And so, you know, when the network's losing money and ratings and stuff because people didn't want to pay, I think, stars to watch it, the network decided, hey, let's just like end it, you know. And you know, but that's the problem with being on like a really huge high cable network like show. It's like people don't want to buy like all these subscriptions to stuff and everything. Like when it comes to HBO, like I've really never watched like an HBO show until I got HBO Max, and of course all the HBO shows are rerun on there. And you know, because I wasn't gonna buy that crap. Whatever that other cable network show used to be back in the old day, I forgot the name of that one. But it's like, you know, because people get tired of paying all that mess. Like a regular cable bill can get you up to $79 back in the day, and with all these streamings and stuff. So it's kind of like if it would have been on regular TV, then of course they would have never had all the blood, gore, and all the like bad language and stuff. And like, but if they would have went to like an actual streaming site like Netflix to begin with, then I think it still would have got canceled after 3 seasons, because Netflix only really do like a 3 to 4 season type thing. And they're trying to change that, but they still, that's their limit and stuff. But maybe Amazon, I don't know, but you know, Shudder, they allowed all that blood and gore from slasher, but I don't think Shudder was around back then. But yeah. So anyway, these last 2 episodes. So to run down what happened in like last season, after they defeated Ball, and then Ash regrew his hand and in the past, and then only to lose it again. And good Ruby died from old Ruby, and Pablo's back alive and stuff. Ash has defeated all evil, and now the town just loves him because of that. And so like, which really doesn't make no sense, because how did they know? You know what I'm saying? Because he altered time, but that's part of that whole like funniness of season 2. And so now going into season 3, Linda is now gone, like completely disappeared and written off the show with no explanation. Pablo is now working at a taco stand. Let's see. Ash is working at his dad's hardware store, and Kelly has decided to leave to go fight evil because Ash just wants a normal life, but she's all like, screw that. So she meets the Knights of Samara, and so they constantly like fight evil. I think she ends up falling in love with one of them. This upsets Pablo and everything. And then in season 3, it is revealed that Ash has a secret love child that he never knew about because the wife decided to hide her from Ash and everything. And the daughter name is Brandy. Normally, I don't like it when they introduce kids to like a main character of a franchise. I don't really like it when that kid starts to like step up and start doing what their parents do. But Brandy did start off kind of bratty, but she grew on people. So it was kind of like she was cool. She was like a nice addition to like the show, and I really enjoyed her. So I'm glad they brought her in, and the actress, which is interesting because originally in season 2 they were gonna reveal that Kelly's true real life father was Ash, but they decided to scrap that, and it would have been awkward, especially because Ash hit on her in the first episode of season 1, and she wasn't really into him, but when he started killing things, it kind of like turned her on. And so that would have been really creepy and nasty. So I'm glad they didn't go that route. So the Knights play a big part in the early half of this season, and there's a group of them that helping out Ash and helping out to try to defeat Ruby and everything. And Ash and his daughter, they're like, one minute they don't get along, then they do get along, then they don't. She doesn't believe in demons, and then she does when she sees them for the first time. And then when Ash tries to kill her principal, which is Ruby, she's all like, oh no, the principal lady's so nice and all this other, because she don't know like she's evil and everything. Until she later finds out that she is, during like the prom and everything. And so when Ruby tries to, and then Kelly decides she's gonna be like a warrior all on her own and try to kill Ruby, where Ruby was too much for her and killed her. And so now her soul went to this demonic like underworld type thing. And so like they have no idea that the Kelly that they've been hanging with is actually like, somebody in her soul, another soul in her body. It's like Ruby's friend. And so like when Ruby tries to kill Ash with the dagger, Brandy jumps in, she dies, he's distraught. They have to go, he goes down to the underworld to like, try to save his daughter. But what's interesting, Ash's dad ended up killing one of the night people when they was down in his basement. He didn't know who it was. He hid the body, and it had a bunch of freaky stuff on the wall. It opens up a portal to the underworld. That's how they get in. And so Ash finds Kelly there. He finds that night dude there. It's this really cool, eerie, demonic world, but it was such a low budget because they had to use the town. And I'm starting to wonder about this town. Is it a real town or like a studio set? Because sometimes it looks kind of fake. But anyway, sometimes it looks like a movie set Hollywood town. But anyway, they're still in New Zealand, and he rescues his daughter, but they can't get Kelly back because there's another spirit in her body and stuff. And so now you're all caught up. So Ruby and like her Deadites, they've been taking out like the Knights like left and right, and there's only one left. And she was kidnapped by Ruby and the fake Kelly. And so Ruby knows that the Dark Ones are coming, and they're coming for her because they're pissed because she's the Dark One and she hasn't really been living up to what she was supposed to be doing. So they're after her, and they're coming for the book, and she has the book. And she also has the dagger. And so she decides she's going to buy herself some time. And so they can't find her and stuff. So she cuts the back of like this one night lady's back. And it is gruesome. She cuts like a rectangle square out. She peels it back. It's so disgusting. The woman is hollering and is screaming. And then she uses it as a page for the Book of the Dead. And it's interesting. The Book of the Dead is literally flesh and organic stuff. The cover of the book is literally a person's face. The pages is like the skin of a person. The ink used is blood. Like, it's just so like demonic, you know. So the night lady tries to escape. Ruby tells her fake Kelly to go kill her, and so that happened. So a whole lot of craziness has been happening since everything's been going on. The Dark Ones have now come to Earth, and Pablo sees them, and it's nighttime, and it's raining, and deadites are coming left and right, and the winds are like blowing, and it's like Pablo's just like, oh my god, man. So like they came when Ash was still in the underworld with the daughter and stuff. They put their hand through Pablo, but they didn't hurt him for some reason. And so like they take the lost pages of the book. And when Pablo finds Ash, he tells Ash and Brandy that if they get their hands on the book and they put those pages back in, that's it. Like, it's in game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the world will literally come to end because demons will flood the earth and everything. And so Ash, he knows he has to get the book and he has to get the dagger, but he doesn't really know where it's at. And so the Dark Ones, they have such a cool look. They're in these hooded robes, and these thick hooded robes. And the hoodie part, they have like kind of like these weird shaped heads, but you can't see their heads or facial flesh or nothing like that. And it's just so creepy and eerie looking and ominous. But then Paulo is able to still once again see through the book, and he sees Ruby's writing in it. He sees fake Kelly and stuff like that. And so he tells Ash, like, you know, about fake Kelly and the book and all this other stuff. So Ash is all like, he's gonna go by himself, and like he's gonna rescue Kelly. He's gonna get the book, and he's gonna get the dagger, and then he's finally gonna put an end to this once and for all before the Dark Ones get to what's her face. So Pablo, that he has to go down into like the basement and do like the whole ritual thing, because you know, and stuff like that. And they leave Brandy there, who's still upset and weary of what all has happened. And Ash gives her his gun, and so she's just there in a chair, just waiting for like demons to come and everything. And then so like Ash, he heads to like Ruby's house, and oh, I forgot to mention, Ruby made like a second Ash, I think out of his hand or something like that. She grew it from she grew him from like a baby to an adult, and then like he cut up the entire school during prom, and then Ash had to kill him and stuff like that. Anyway, Ruby, it's too late. Ash got there way too late. No, wait, no, he didn't. I forget on this part. There was a fight. When he gets there, him and Ruby, and fake Kelly are all fighting and stuff. And then that night lady comes back as a deadite, and they tossing him around, and he's getting hurt. And then the Dark Ones show up. So then he hides and everything. The Dark Ones, they go to fake Kelly, and they rip that fake soul out her body. And then the most interesting thing happened. One of the Dark Ones threw up a naked lady's body. And she's completely full-blown naked in this show. And it's the demonic lady who was friends with Ruby and stuff. So they put her soul back in her body. And then they burn her a cinder. And then they go to like Ruby and everything. And like Ruby's all like, mouthing off to them and stuff like that, but then they do something to her, and they suck out like her essence, and she turns into like a husk, and then they just toss on the ground and she shatters. Like, okay, if you ever seen what like a crepe looks like, that little French pastry that's kind of like a pancake, her skin comes flaky like that. Like, it's weird. She's all breaded looking and stuff. And so Ash, he's just all like horrified and terrified, but then he's happy that Ruby's finally got hers. So doing all this, he while all this stuff is going on, he decides he's gonna steal Kelly body while the Dark Ones don't see. He steals the book and he steals the dagger and he hightails it out of there. So he's like driving down the road and everything, and he's talking to the book so he can talk to Pablo, and he's telling him where to meet up. But then Pablo's all like, "No, man, you can't like go here because the Dark Ones are here, and then all this other stuff is happening." But Ash can't really hear because it's cutting out. So then when he's driving back in town, he almost runs into Pablo and Ash's daughter, and they almost all have like a huge head-on collision, and Ash drives into like the store. And so like with Kelly body and stuff, the Dark Ones, they come, and so like they toss Ash around, and then they grab the book, and then they put the pages in there, and then ooh, Armageddon has literally just happened just now. There are deadites coming left and right, and people are turning into deadites, and Ash and them know that crap, he screwed up and everything. So while Brandy is waiting just for them to get back, she starts to hear some stuff, and then we get some of the coolest moments ever with Brandy in this episode. Basically they give her very own Evil Dead movie like montage of what Ash went through, and it's really cool because she is the daughter of Ash, so like why not? So she gets to do some cool like crap, man. The winds are blowing, the camera is going up to the house really fast like in the movies, and then the bus opens the door and all this crazy stuff starts happening. And so like she's starting to see like demons outside, and something happens where she starts like shooting, I think. And I don't know what she's shooting at, but something happens. And then it scares her to where she runs outside. Or she runs upstairs once. She gets her way outside, and then she runs into like the garage, which is similar to Ash running into like the cavern shed and everything. And so like there's just like all this like stuff is blowing around, and she's freaking out. And then like she gets her cell phone, and it's a call from her mom, and she knows her mom is literally dead, could turn to a deadite, and Ash had to cut it up and stuff. And then all of a sudden the cell phone turns into like a face, and it bites her thumb. So she's screaming and hollering and waving her arms, her hand everywhere, and then she like just slings the cell phone on the ground, but it takes her thumb in the process. So now she's like lost her thumb, and so she wraps it up and everything. And then she has like a dream sequence like vision of like her hand like veining up the way Ash did, like all them black veins. And so she grabs like a bandsaw, and she's getting ready, and then she just cuts her hand off, and there's like blood everywhere. But it's a dream sequence, and she wakes up. Her thumb has now turned into like a little ghoulish, monstery looking thing, and it's constantly chasing her around. She's trying to like shoot it and everything. And then she gets like the plow thingy, and she just like runs it over and like all of that, and it's like blood everywhere. And then she gets back in the house waiting for Ash and them, and it's just such a cool horror movie-ish like feeling and everything. And I'm so glad she got to have her own version of like the Evil Dead thing, and stuff. So that was really cool for that actress. I know that must have been like the highlight of like her day, So now with the last episode of Mettle and Men. So at the end of the last episode, when everything was busting open, there was like a huge crater that happened in the ground. And Ash is walking over because, Ash is just Ash. He wants to look at it. And a huge, giant hand comes out. And it's some type of Kandor monster. And so Pablo tells him it's the Kandor. Like he overheard the Dark Ones talking about this is supposed to be the end of like mankind. And this monster is supposed to like kill everybody. So like every freaky little thing is like going on. So Ash is just kind of like, let's go home. Because he ain't fighting that thing. And so they're all like, dude, you have to like kill this evil type thing. He's like, he ain't killing no giant monster. He said he'll kill demons. But that thing is like 20 feet up, stories up high in the air. And he ain't doing it, and stuff. Then we get the most interesting thing ever. Now, we've heard Ash complain before about how he's tired of doing this, and it's been like over 30 years. But he literally breaks down, like breaks emotionally down to the point where he is almost in tears. And he's talking about how he's sick and he's tired. He's old. He just wants to relax. He's tired of fighting demons and stuff. He said this has been going on for like 30 years of his life, and he's just sick and tired of it. Because this happened all in the 80s and stuff. And then for like about 20, 30 years later, he ain't have to deal with it no more. And then all of a sudden, here it comes again, and it has literally ruined his life the way the town hated him. His dad hated him at one point. He lost a daughter as a result of it, and then didn't know she was born. And he's just so sick and like tired. But his daughter slaps him out of it and tells him, reminds him of who he is and what he's destined to do, and how only he can do it, and and think about the world, think about stuff like that. So he snaps into it, and he's like, all right, fine, I'm gonna do it. But first things first, we have to get Kelly back and stuff. So they have to go back down into the basement of like the his dad's place. But they can't do it with deadites everywhere. But Pablo said he can literally walk around with nobody like trying to hurt him, because demons see Pablo as one of them, because of his Bruju Brojas like abilities and stuff. And so he goes on foot through town, but Ash and his daughter go down in the sewer system. Well, while they're down there, over like 50 deadites are like waiting for them, and they're having the hardest time trying to get rid of them all. Ash no longer has his chainsaw because Ruby destroyed it. And so he still has his boomstick and everything. And so he's just like shooting them left and right, while his daughter Brandy has like the dagger. And so they're all bloody, they're like, and all this other stuff. They're trying to kill him, but it's just to no prevail. There's more and more. So they hightail it on out of there, and they get into the basement. Pablo goes into like the underworld, and he brings back Kelly's body. Kelly is so happy to see Pablo and everybody else, but then she looks in the mirror and see how gray and ghoulish her face looks and everything. And so then they head outside, and we see the military, which is awesome, because you never see the military in like shows or movies like this, And so the military, they're just there with their jets. They're firing. They're on the ground. They're firing. They're trying to do the best they can. But Pablo realizes all the fire, all the ammunition and stuff that's going towards the monster is just making it stronger. And so he's trying to tell the military that, but they don't want to listen. And then Ash is trying to talk to the military, but they don't want to listen to him either. Also, like I said before, the waiter from season 1 of that restaurant, he is now a military soldier playing a completely different character. And so like there's this one cop, and he's all like, look man, you're Ashy Slashy, you're supposed to kill this thing, go kill it and stuff. And he's trying to tell, hey, here's Ashy Slashy. But then a deadite takes over his body, and he turns, and Kelly, she tries to help a soldier out that got hurt. And so she's taking a machine gun, and she's just like going at it with the demons on the ground, because she's fed up at this point and everything. And they all know it's a lost battle and everything. And then one military soldier tells the other one that they're gonna nuke the city and everything. So they get everybody out, and as Ash is trying to like get to the military convoy, his daughter tells him, don't leave me and everything. And he's all like, I won't. And it's so sweet, until he leaves her. He tells her straight up that she's crying. She's like, you said you'll never leave me. He's like, he has to stay and destroy that giant monster, because even a nuke probably won't even stop that thing. And so like he said that, he doesn't want to leave her, but he has to. Like he's doing it for her. He's doing it for the whole world, just like she said he needs to do, And in a very heartfelt, like touching scene, he says goodbye to Brandy. He says goodbye to Kelly, tells her, you're the leader now, tells Pablo he's the jefe now. And, this is just his time. And I'm like, oh man, he's going to sacrifice himself. So like he hops into like a tank, and he's just like riding downtown, getting towards like the giant like monster Kandar thing. He takes out one of the missiles, and he replaces it with the dagger, and he puts it in the slot, and then so he getting ready to fire, but it won't work. And so it's Ash against the monster, and like, and the monster picks him up, getting ready to eat him. But then Ash is like, oh, it hit the wrong button. So he hits the right button, and it fires the dagger into like the monster's mouth and through its like chest. And it just like turns to like cinder as it's burning from the inside. And then it drops the tank. And so Ash is okay until the monster falls completely on top of him. And I'm thinking to myself, oh crap, dude, it's supposed to get nuked. Like, what's gonna happen? And then so like we see Ash is like out of it, and we see some people, and we can't really see what they look like, but they're grabbing Ash, and they have a ring of the Knights of Samara people. And then the most interesting thing happens. It's set sometime in the future, don't know when, but Ash wakes up from like a chamber, and he's wearing some type of futuristic outfit on, and like they gave him like a new prosthetic hand that looks like a real hand. And the CGI on the mechanical cyborg stuff is great. And in comes a woman, and she's half human, half cyborg. And once again, the CGI is great on that. And she looks like a real cyborg. And so he's all like, what's going on? Where's my daughter and everything? And she's all like, I'll tell you everything. I'll explain everything later. But first, you need to suit up. And so this makes me think, okay, his daughter somehow survived. But there's no telling what happened to his daughter. Maybe she took up the mantle. Maybe she is still fighting. Maybe she's still alive. We don't know what year this in, but it's very Mad Max type style. She opens the door. The world has now come to an end. There's craters everywhere. The world doesn't even look the same. So putting Kelly in charge was not a good idea. The world was that? Anyway, so sorry about that. There's like a weird noise outside. Wind's blowing like crazy. So, yeah, I heard like, my bad, y'all. I heard like this strange, like, so he suits up. He's wearing like this big jacket, coat type thing. The Delta has been transformed into a tank. Him and the woman get on, and like, I think she asked him like, how does it feel? And he gives out one last groovy, and then boom, the show ends. And I was just like, man, what a type of cliffhanger to end on. If only the show would come back, or they'll make a movie that shows what happened. They have made movies. They made a remake of the original one. I haven't watched it yet. I watched some clips. It looks kind of desperate to be edgy, gory, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't really feel the same like the original one does. Sam Raimi and Bruce are producing a Netflix Evil Dead movie. Nobody knows anything about it. So far, he still is not going to star in it. But so far, they cast 2 models from Australia, I think, in the movie. So there's no telling really what's going to like happen in this movie. But yeah, it just sucks that this show came to end the way it did. It was so good. And when you read the responses on the YouTube from all the people talking about how the show ended and they don't understand why it ended, you can tell this was one of those like big phenomenons that just took the world by storm. And I didn't even know this show existed until like a few years ago, after it had got canceled. Now wasn't that spooky? Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.